A little bit more than just Austin on the top-heavy side. Looks like Austin, in fact, didn't make it. Austin, the city, didn't make it to winners finals at all. They're mucking around in losers bracket. I don't even think Dragonite's still in.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, Dragonite released a tweet at some point, I think in the last 2 weeks, that said Dallas was a bunch of randoms other than Austin, out here getting smackaroo.
Yeah, it's almost like he's just trying to start absolute nonsense that isn't true.
Multiple Facebook posts about how take away Austin and what are we, and we're in winners finals. That's what we are.
Yep.
Yeah,
Denti versus Orex. With
Denti and Oryx, I was going to say that, you know, with Peach
and Pokemon Trainer.
Yep.
Pretty unique set.
Yeah, I mean, you know, two popular characters when this game came out for sure. But yeah, I think that a lot of people give Peach certainly the upper hand on the tier list mostly recently, and for pretty good reason. I mean, she can do it all.
I mean, rightfully so. Her punish game is ridiculous, and I think a lot of what Ultimate is boiling down to is how well you can keep your advantage and stack on that percentage as quickly as possible.
Go.
You know, you can get away in a lot of other games, especially like traditional fighters, with just being a really solid neutral game and never losing.
Swap? Yeah, here we go.
Up against a Peach, you got to be more than solid.
I was surprised to see at 70% for Orex that Denti hasn't swapped over the Ivysaur to start looking for this kill yet, or at least looking for setups.
Right.
But looked like he was waiting for a more opportune time, not to just swap in neutral, but use it as a defensive option. And if you can continue to press advantage and take the stock of turtle, go ahead.
Switching to Ivysaur. Most certain Denti's
he didn't want that
strongest.
snap.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted that way. Oh, he still picked up the stock though.
Yeah.
Most certainly Denti's strongest out of the three.
Of course, and probably the strongest Pokemon in general of the three, or at least most well-rounded.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. Like the more that we see Pokemon Trainer, the more I see of the other characters.
Yeah, the more
other
use out of it, for sure.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You'll see matchups where the Squirtle does most work, or maybe the Charizard can come in to play here and there. But I think well-rounded against more of the cast, Ivysaur we see more of.
Right.
But that might just be the more straightforward nature of Ivysaur's just really good buttons. Like, there's a couple of moves that are just phenomenal with this character. It's really easy to point at them and say, yeah, they're good, let's use them.
That's true.
Really good spacing.
Squirtle, you gotta kind of work it out a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta be able to get up close and be comfortable being in your opponent's face. Whereas Ivysaur, you can create yourself, a little bit more space, and I think that works out really well against Peach, is to be able to challenge the zones that she sets up without having to put yourself like right in that martial hand-to-hand distance.
Right.
Going for the extra whip, doesn't quite catch, but Oryx doesn't punish. I wonder if down tilt could have just knocked him out.
It is a difficult thing to try and punish. The hitbox is actually a lot larger than I guess most people expect.
Absolutely, and like if you shield it,
oh my goodness!
Even if you shield it, you're probably not dropping shield and then hitting Ivysaur before you can like buffer an option.
Right. Parasol burning through the flamethrower at the ledge, but Denti with a smart fair.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that tonight, where these characters with the big double jumps at ledge are getting really solidly called out. But,
Denti has the biggest, I want to call it a habit, because it's this tech he's discovered. He's like, Charizard's double jumps are better in this game, so he jumps away from the ledge and then jumps back on a flamethrower or fair or whatever mix-up.
Right.
But the mix-up is still always, I'm jumping away from ledge first and then jumping back on.
It's a commitment.
Right, and Orex read that, said, you are spending so much time in the air. Here's my free punish.
Denti's spending a lot of time trying to land these withdraws. Now, I think that Oryx, I mean, especially Peach in general, has that float. Just go right above him and just not even worry about it.
Yeah, I saw yesterday that at Rushdown that he was, getting the punishes, but also going for the footstool for the extra. What is it?
The finesse.
Yeah, the recovery frames.
That being said, close game all around for both of these guys. It's been tight, but watch me whip, Denti says. Don't even need to finish that whole lyric because the whip's all he needs.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's very hard to try and get away from that in general. There's not a lot of time that you can, or not a lot of time that you have to input your DI after if he just immediately does down throw.
Right, down throw's really fast throw. If you haven't recognized the situation where I've messed up and can't get grabbed.
Immediately, sometimes your DI might not get there in time. So.
And the thing is, it's a mix-up in and of itself, because if you DI in and he reads it, he can still reach it sometimes. If he reverses the whip, set it up, he just has to read it.
Even like partial DI, trying to get away, after the knockback is done. If you have stage available, Ivysaur can run up into it. So a lot of utility in that whole entire situation.
The Pokemon Trainer does have to react, though. I don't think they can, or they have to read it. I don't think it's super easy to react to your DI on the fly.
I think
they're like, okay, he's DIing in. Maybe you get a little bit more time to react than, the opponent does to DI the throw.
I'm assuming he will be here.
Yeah. but looks like I caught him off guard here. I'm going to catch him DI now.
Right.
Or DI.
Yeah. And that's just, you know, it's those reads on that DI, the intelligence to find where Oryx wanted to be in any given moment that Denti was able to win that game 1. And I think that's a big reason why he's ahead here at the start of game 2 is just that he sees where Oryx wants to land. He sees how he wants to get out of disadvantage. Because like you said, Disco, this game is heavily about how you get out of that disadvantage and get back into that punish.
For sure.
Man, Ivy doesn't have the best disadvantage, but Denti's been making really good use of the tools that he does have. The big disjoint in the
Ooh, that
forward
was
air.
a sick mix-up.
Absolutely. Taking the full stage length with it as well. That back air is coming in.
Nice.
Nicely catches Oryx, willing to sit there and float. Oryx loves just floating outside of your range, or what he would believe to be outside the range.
Right.
And just waiting for you to pick an option, and then he goes in.
Yeah, but maybe a little bit of unfamiliarity with the character here, because Denti definitely was able to reach with that back air. He was perfectly in position to win.
Yeah, that range was or the whole entire move was really well placed.
And that's what you saw right there. Oryx made the adaptation. He had that extra distance that he gave himself the time to react. If Denti went off for another back air, he'd be able to float back further and then get back on stage.
There we go, pressuring Denti, pushing off the ledge. He has to go for that. Ooh, had time to shield.
It was that was the right decision.
Wow, get-up attack was super nice. Set him up on the platform. That was really good for Denti, able to get a couple of hits afterwards, but Oryx just overextended.
Oryx fighting at a disadvantage with the forward air. When your opponent has like a killing aerial, you got to be a lot more careful on your offense. Sit back, take 1 or 2 hits. You don't always have to press.
Oh my goodness.
The fact that he snapped from that far after missing the tech, that's crazy.
Honestly, yeah, I expected the switch in the Charizard because he gets that extra jump.
I thought he would live. I didn't think he would live that easily.
Right. Turning back to stage control, Oryx still.
That was nice. Recognizing that Denti had stopped the cross-up halfway through and faded back over to the original side.
That time to turn around and get the grab. Roll on stage in the back air. Oryx still in control, throws away the stitch.
I think that's good anyways. You know, sometimes you just don't want to psych yourself out with the turnip. And you get back to the game plan that's working, and Oryx is running a pretty good game right now. Another one.
Oh,
another stitch.
My God. Don't, he looked at me. He's still looking at me. Stop. Stop it, Oryx.
Oryx actually has a stitch button on his controller. It's a different B button than when he presses that when he pulls a stitch every time.
Hey, it's not in the rule set. You know, we are not checking controllers. So.
He just, he only uses it every so often when he really feels like he needs it.
No, the stitch button legal. Pro controllers though. Oh! I went from to O real quick. Oryx changing up my vowels quick. We'll Wheel of Fortune up in here.
That was a 2-stop.
Yeah.
That was a 2-stop.
Yeah, all right.
There are 13 E's.
There's 2 things that I think Oryx is phenomenal, or 3 things that I think Oryx is really phenomenal at. Okay, number 1 is he's really good at maintaining his composure and being a big gatekeeper.
Yes.
Number 2, his movement is phenomenal. He's really good at baiting out your movements and like controlling space in neutral. His movement is nice.
It very is. It very much is.
Third thing that I think he's like the best at is he is so good at adapting really quickly. You saw the change from game 1, it was pretty close. You know, last stock. Game 2 is a 2-stock in Oryx's favor. Absolutely made some quick adjustments.
And that's why we're 1-1. I mean, the adjustments are... They're so strong from Oryx. I mean, we talk about how, you know, he's just got the solid punish game. He plays a very consistent game plan, but it's the small changes in it that makes him so good. It's not that he just executes one and done.
Right. He's very flexible.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you where else he's flexible is in the decision-making of how he chooses the peak skins that he uses. He's told me before that sometimes he chooses his color based on how he feels he wants to play and how he feels he wants to play against somebody. And sometimes he just color counterpicks, which is what he's been doing so far this set. They're 2 different modes. Peach has also like just a ton of variety of different colors, and I think that just definitely represents her.
My goodness.
He did not have to have a grab. He could have punished him with anything.
No, so I learned actually you can mash out of that.
Okay.
I learned very recently that I was wrong before. You can mash out of that. But it does stun you for quite a long time. I think it's effectively a shield break. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why Denti was ready to mash out of that grab so quickly. He was already mashing.
Down throw setting up for the combo. Denti's not going to bite.
Okay, Razor Leaf, but he's got the fast one, so it doesn't combo as well.
Wow, got away with the fair on shield. Orex, great patience on the return.
Yeah, I was about to say that was such a good switch from Denti because that was essentially acting as a spot dodge, but also got him that extra living time with the Charizard.
Oh,
double flare blitz, just going to waste that time. I love it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things in the Pokemon Trainer matchup is learning how to deal with that return. And Oryx has shown that he definitely has it on lock forward throw because he's out of the down throw up air.
Oh my goodness. Black Hawk down, says Denti. That helicopter nair out there, so deep.
Deep in enemy territory.
Denti,
and using the bullet seed.
Yeah, 2 moves in a row that Denti uses way better than a lot of other Pokemon trainers that I've seen is bullet seed and nair.
Yeah, he loves edge guarding with the nair.
Yeah, uses nair for edge guard situations where everyone else would be content trying to set up their down air. But he goes out there and makes sure that, you know, I don't even need the down air if you can't make it back.
Another thing that Denti does with that nair that I like a lot is he has a really good illusion of shield pressure with it. He does that right there. It's a multi-hit, and he makes you think, oh god, it's shield pressure because he hit me a bunch of times, but it's just one move.
Yeah, that said, Oryx is doing a really good job of playing around it. But it is a move that is not very safe on the shield, but their mix-up lies in whether or not he's going to cross you up or when he's going to fade back or not.
Denti's been doing a good job of mixing that up. We saw it a couple times where he faked that he was going to cross up and then just landed right in front of Oryx. But pretty much every time, Oryx has been able to react and punish, and that's what you got to do, react. Don't just think that you're going to have everything right the first time.
Denti now on his last stock here in Game 3. This is a pivotal game for both of them. They both really like having the stage control, and I think they both play better with the lead, so it's interesting to see them both try to get things started when they're down.
I'd say if this goes to a Game 5, I have all my chips on Oryx. Dude is a monster in Game 5 situations.
I think I do think he's a little bit more consistent.
Ooh. Ultimatum may be like the only time I've seen Oryx lose Game 5.
Right. Denti's a really emotional player. So, I mean, this is a big game to go down 2-1. When you're the emotional player against a Fortress,
right,
that can sway things pretty significantly.
And he's already at 85%, so we could start to see the beginning of what I hope is not tilt, but great up air right there going to cover that whole entire platform and that float.
Platform coverage has been great from Denti all night with that up air. He's been catching people coming from the ledge and trying to get over him to get that stage control. Like you said, stage control is huge in this matchup, and Denti's been great to catch out the people trying to just get it because they want it, not because it's the right time to have it. All right, once again, hitting that nair on the shield. You know, Denti's pretty much just one solid hit away from this Peach.
Crosses up.
Oryx, cross up.
Last second cross up too in situations where he has consistently been faking the fade back.
All right, Charizard is out. That
wants
the back a little bit more survivability.
Not only the survivability, but Denti wants that early stock.
He does have some kill power in his hands right now. A lot of defensive options being thrown out. Neither player wants to be incorrect. They know that this game means so much. Great tomahawk grab from Orex.
That's one thing he was so consistent at before and continues to bring to this game. Catches Denti with the get up with the back air and sends this to a Game 3. This is best 3 out of 5. Oryx is up 2-1 now. One more game puts Oryx firmly on winner's side grand finals. Or we could see if Denti runs into the Game 5, continues to make this run.
I'd imagine that Denti's definitely got one more win in the tank. And 2 is certainly no stretch of the imagination either, but you know, like we said, one step at a time. And that's really all you can do against Peach. I mean, she's not a character that you're going to combo heavily. She's not a character that is going to fall victim to big strings of disadvantage, especially when you're so good at the defense like Oryx.
It has to happen from first stock. It has to happen from the jump for Denti. Because it looks like Oryx is pretty dug in his heels in the way that he wants to play, but it's Denti that is starting a lot of these interactions because he wants the interactions on his side. It's got to be a tighter game plan.
You got to play from the lead against Oryx, and specifically in this matchup with Pokemon Trainer versus Peach. If Peach has to approach, things start to go awry for her, but if Pokemon Trainer is the one who's forced to consistently make the interactions happen, Peach is a very, very good defensive toolkit to deal with that.
You've got to deal with her range, and your range being inside her range.
And that's forward smash. Yeah, just get some good damage. Don't give him the time to mash.
Already, this is not looking to be the most optimal start for Denti, but it's not through yet. 90%. If he can avoid, that rogue fair or back air somewhere, he can get this stock first, and it looks like he's starting to.
Denti is pressing buttons at a rhythm right now. He is definitely first actionable frame. He is throwing out whatever he can.
Yeah. Spot dodge looks like his go-to. Spot dodge and roll away are his two go-to options.
Yeah.
And Oryx is just sitting there waiting and watching. So early stocks, I don't expect it to pay huge importance because Oryx is going to be saving that for when it matters.
Oh, Denti getting clipped by that turnip and takes away his recovery options, but Oryx just wants to have that ledge trap again. You know, so good at the defense, but once you're in that disadvantage against him, he'll push it.
Denti was just paralyzed with fear on the ledge there against that back air pressure.
Yeah, the respect on that was insane, but not too far off now. I mean, look at the percentages where, you know, even stocks. Denti got away. Yeah, got away with it. Like, he could have had a little bit more percent on him.
All right, back hit near sending him off stage. Only ate a little bit as far as Peach combos are concerned. Ooh, down air fighting at a disadvantage. Squirtle doesn't have the biggest hitboxes, so you can definitely challenge him out of his strings if they're not frame tight.
That is true.
On top of that, Peach is also pretty good at getting out of juggles, so I mean that down air is one of the big reasons why.
And she'll take trades any day of the week.
I see consistently right now from Denti that he just doesn't feel comfortable being up close next to Orex. And rightfully so. Peach has great pressure, great hitboxes, you know, they're fast and a lot of range. But it doesn't look like he's starting interactions when they happen to him. It looks like he's trying to orchestrate them himself from a certain range. But Oryx is not biting, and it just makes Denti look like he's taking risks, kind of shooting himself in the foot here and there.
I think he kind of realized that. That's why with Ivysaur now he's starting to sit back, shoot a lot more Razor Leaves, try to build his zone. There we go, catches Oryx beating out the Razor Leaf, but he was stuck in some lag, so he got that grab. Yeah, Denti's slowing it down a little bit, and I like that.
It's just so important to take Peach to the moon whenever you hit her, and right now Denti's just getting spare hits here and there, and those aren't coming that often because Oryx's defense is so good. And look at how slowly he closed that gap and was able to eventually punish Denti just for a Razor Leaf.
You know, I wonder why we aren't seeing back air in neutral out of Ivysaur versus Peach specifically. She's in the air a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Back air has those two long hitboxes with a lot of range.
Much quicker way to air-to-air.
I wonder what Denti knows that, you know, obviously we are not.
It could just be a comfort thing where he's not. It's not a tool you use in every matchup aggressively like that in neutral. So it might just be something he's unfamiliar with, but definitely something to look into.
Oh my goodness. Oryx is in danger right now, losing the stock ridiculously early.
Yeah, this was so close, and then Denti really quickly turned that around. Got the up throw with the Charizard, and then some quick damage.
Well, the Denti mixes up the placement of the flamethrower, but now got to get back on stage. It's been hard for him to do that against Oryx. Like you said, he's been paralyzed at the ledge to do anything. And now at 184, 190 even, he's got to be picking carefully.
Does Flare Blitz? This is just a conjecture. I don't know for sure. Does Flare Blitz have less M lag after you've air dodged? Directional air dodge?
It might be like Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf Flash has less M lag after you directional air dodge. And I noticed that after Denti was flung off the stage, he did that high up directional air dodge and then Flare Blitzed all the way on. And it looked like he was pretty quick to act.
It's possible.
I would love to find that out.
You know, as we continue watching this set and how this specific game has gone on, I can't help but wonder if maybe the order of Pokemon for Denti is incorrect. Maybe we've seen so much usage of Charizard instead of Squirtle. Maybe
Charizard should be used more.
That's kind of what I'm feeling. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
The Charizard's done well.
Call me crazy. Charizard was not a good character in the last game, right? But when I experimented with Charizard for a good bit, there were a couple of like good characters that I didn't have as much of a problem playing with.
They just kind of struggle with some of those
Charizard
hitboxes.
Against Peach?
I think so.
I think Charizard actually has a really good jab to box out. It covers a big range. Up smash covers a big range.
Intangible wings. The flamethrower as well. It handles a lot of
good
control.
Shield damage.
Yeah, so I mean, like other than getting super comboed, right? Maybe that's, you know, why he's avoiding it. I feel like those strengths could be utilized.
Right.
And let's also look at like what I refer to as the Ganondorf factor with Charizard. Yeah. The thing about Charizard versus having that Ivysaur is, like we said, when Denti was landing a hit with the Ivysaur, he was only getting like the 20 to 25%, whereas he only has to do that like a couple of times with Charizard, and then Denti has him at kill percent,
right?
Because that back air can just slap him at 70.
The amount of times that you have to win neutral and get a reward for it, different kind of variable happening with those different characters. Game 5, and like you said, my money's kind of on Oryx, but if Denti can manage to get things in his court, I have money on Denti. He's really good at keeping his lead if he doesn't have to take the risk.
But the thing is that he has been taking a lot of unnecessary risks. He's been getting whiff punished a whole lot for one, and just getting way too aggressive. He puts himself at frame disadvantage, and Oryx knows exactly what to do at that point.
Just look at this start from Orex.
Right, yeah, it's 30-second mark, and Denti's at 85, just now getting punished for something. Great. Oh, that's such a hard situation. The mix is really strong.
Oh my god, another empty land into the grab, crossing through Denti. There we go, get him attack catches. Oryx was not even
right, that wasn't even on his
shield.
radar, right? Yeah. Sometimes the option that makes the least sense is the correct one.
There we go, sits back, pulls the turnip, sets up for the dash attack. Not quite going to kill, but he has, again, Denti at the ledge. What's he going to do? Re-grabbed, so he's going to pick an option real quick. And every time Denti gets up, he spot dodges and rolls.
That's been consistent. He's picked an option immediately if he's not sitting in shield, and then roll is the very next one.
Yep.
So it really speaks a lot to the pressure that Oryx is putting on Denti, because every time he's next to him, he is taking a defensive option instead of challenging him.
But that being said, we're finally seeing Denti pull out a move that, Disco, you were saying he needs to use more. That's that back air. Because we saw that Denti got punished for a forward air on shield, but back air on shield, much harder to punish.
I mean, you've got a lot of range. You've got a lot of aerial drift with it. I just wonder if maybe it is an answer. Although, you know, I am not the Pokemon trainer player, and, you know, I'm not playing versus Oryx. It just seems like on paper that move could be utilized. We're seeing next to no mileage from it.
There we go. Got just about even percents, but Oryx a full stock ahead, and you know, if I'm just looking at a battle of mentalities right now, I know Oryx is always a fortress.
Yes.
He's always calm, and he hates Game 5s, but he's so good at them. He's such a clutch player.
I think that kind of, oh my gosh, the eat your veggies. Is he done? He is alive.
No,
okay, I wasn't sure. Sometimes it looks like they can't make it back. Yeah. But, I mean, you can see it physically, Denti reeling back in his chair after that lost stock. But this is just weighing really heavily on his mind. Trying to deal with Oryx is one of the most difficult things.
There are a few men who can stare you in the eyes and say, I took Oryx to a Game 5 and had a great time.
Right.
And won.
Oryx is just so terrifying in that situation, and I love seeing the Charizard now because Denti knows he's down 2 whole stocks. He needs that big comeback factor, and he's had a little bit of success with that comeback factor with the Charizard, but he's just getting hit a whole lot, going in way too hard, and
I mean,
Oryx
look at these sequences.
He even
knows exactly what to do. That was disgusting.
Complete control. Actually just complete control. Even the combos from the turnips that looked like they weren't true, Oryx knew where he would be, or where he would most likely be, the options he would be picking. He just, you know, minimized everything.